Good day and welcome to MFSQL Connector. This video is about the follow-up of a previous presentation which was about the basics of setting up reporting with MFSQL Connector for M files, and this video will start with a series of advanced topics to deal with all the different advanced elements that the connector offers in terms of handling reporting. The different topics will be covered in a series of short videos which will cover each topic separately for easy viewing. This video includes revisiting the basics, and then in the following videos we will cover topics such as using agents for scheduling updates, reporting from the metadata structure and using the metadata structure for designing the reports, how to use the event log for reporting. We will look at combining different class tables and combining it with source data, working with multi-lookup properties, cover the use of the change history and also the reporting from that, reporting from file data. We will also cover how to do updates for large-scale data and other methods of refreshing the data. Let's start with revisiting the basics. MFSQL Connector have been installed, and we'll use the MFSQL Connector database MFSQL reporting demo, which is connected with a CRM vault in the background. First thing to do to get started is to execute a procedure SP setup reporting, and we're going to create the account table. Now what this procedure has done is it actually performed a whole range of different operations. It checked the validity of the license, replicated the metadata to the MFSQL Connector database, and finally created all the views that is necessary and used in the underlying table. When we do a select statement and look at the MF account table that has just been created, we will see that it is empty. And the reason for it is because the data has not yet been pulled from M files into this table. So there is a procedure called SPMF update table with lots of switches, but I'm just using the basic ones, and this will get the information based upon the update method 1, which is the second parameter, and populate the table from M files to SQL. Let's have a look at the result. The data has been pulled through from M files, and it has created or added the table to the Explorer. If you right click on the table and use this method of getting a select statement done, it would place all of the columns for you into the query window, and now you can sub-select the items that you want to include in your report. Now what I'm just showing you here is how the different types of columns have been grouped together. So you'll see that there's a class and a class ID, a country and a country ID. Every lookup have basically the label as well as the ID in the table. This is a key feature of MFSQL Connector, and it helps for you to do quick reporting from the table because you do not need to now do a join to get each one of these labels included. So just illustrating to you how the different groupings takes place, and from the last modified downwards, these are all system columns, unlikely for you to be using these columns in reporting. It is much more used for integration. Now that we've grouped all of the columns so that we can better see the different significances, we can start to delete the columns that we really don't want to have in our report. So the system columns, all the IDs we can delete, and we can start to sub-select easily all of the items that we want to include in our report. Continuing down this track to delete all of it, and finally we have our final list of properties to be included in our report, and with a very short space of time we have a report from the accounts table that we now can include in a view, so that we can make this view available to the users so that they can request a view and do not have to look at the individual class table and navigate through all of the additional properties to be able to create their report. We will add a create view, and in that way we will create the view, put it together, and we have a view that the users can easily use for their reporting. Let's create a new query and execute our view. Select star from the new view that we have just created, and that will give us the report that we were looking at, that we just created. There you are. So we can see all the columns that we've included. It's easy to go and modify the view if you want to take out or add new columns, and the generation of your first report has been completed. The next thing that I want to illustrate to you is when we make a change in M files, then how does that change actually come through in SQL? So first of all, let's get an object that we can change. So we're going to select this account and let's decide what we want to do. We will add and change the address. Let's change the address to 102 the Avenue and save the record. And then let's go back to SQL. So if we go and do a select using our view we see it's not what we've expected. So even if we run execute, it's still not what we've expected. And that is key, because unless you actually refresh the data from M files, and we do that with SPMF update table, and we pull the data from M files with update method 1, the data is not in the new table. So let's check it again after we've ran the update, and there we are. We now have the changed data immediately into this table, and it's only the data that has changed that is pulled through. We didn't have to actually do a refresh of all of the classes and everything that is involved, and it takes a long time to do that. This finished the illustration of the core basics of getting reporting going, and we will cover in the next video how to actually do a scheduled update for the different changes in M files. So watch out for the video in YouTube. Thank you for listening.